It's August 2020, and we are in the midst of the biggest transformation of life on planet Earth that we have witnessed as humanity in thousands of years. Everything is shifting not only around us, but also inside in our DNA, in our energy bodies, in our physical bodies, in the planet. This presentation is me sharing my experiences as a human being, but also as a being of light on planet Earth, just like you are. Because as we share with each other, we move the quantum field. We connect the pieces, the puzzle pieces, and we realize our oneness, our truth, and our story. And it's fun to share. I think it's always fun to hear other light workers' journey, their realizations, and just put the pieces together and grow together. I call these presentations vibrational activations because it is through sound and our voice, the voice that comes as a reflection of our essence, from our heart, from our soul, from our body. The sound has the power to create a vibrational ripple effect in the fabric of reality. And very often when we listen to someone's voice, we hear much more than the words. I believe it's also more powerful than watching someone's face talking to us, because then we get distracted. But the voice has the power to carry consciousness, and I want to use the word truth lightly, but maybe there is such thing that we can accept as divine truth. My name is Adi, and I share information on a website called Green Tara Guru, greentara.guru. For me, it has been a journey just like you since birth. And this is the time of such a huge transformation. So we are sent here as souls who remember. And there are many of us on this planet at this moment who remember, or who have remembered all their lives. For me, when I was a small child, I could feel what you would call the Kundalini power, the rainbow light flowing through my physical body, creating immense bliss and heat. And I do also believe that we originally come here with open energy channels where the force of the mother, the rainbow serpent, the energy of the earth, the Mother Creator, can flow through our physical bodies, through our energetic bodies, and create the sense of oneness and bliss and harmony and creative ecstasy. And it's only later in life that very often this energy is shut off. When I was very small, I had many out-of-body experiences, meeting with different beings of light, of rainbow light, traveling to different dimensions. And so it seemed to me that the most important part of us is the non-physical being at that point. I started to meditate when I was 13, and my first meditation technique that I was using was the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and Dying, I think that's what it's called. So I would be chanting every night. And then one night I suddenly felt this tornado force going through my body, through the top of my head, and it pulled me out. And when it pulled me out, when I say me, suddenly there was this very large non-physical part of me that seemed like that's where my consciousness and awareness is. And I would be looking down at the body, and I definitely did not want to go back. I felt like I'm this huge, expanded being of light. And in that moment, a beautiful feminine female being came, and I still refer to her as Mother Mary, even though that she didn't in any way imply that that's who it was. And she told me that I still had to go back to grow along the tree of life. And at that moment, I didn't know what the tree of life was, but I was sent back into the body. And then from that moment on, I was always guided by my guides. One of my most important guides has been Yogananda. He's a yogi, if you don't know him, who was incredible avatar. He really brought, I don't know, millions of people on the spiritual path, and he guided them to awaken the life force in their spines and to live fully. Yogananda, as my most important guide, was teaching me how to first handle my physical reality by purifying my physical being so that I could reach the angelic realms of what we call non-physical reality. So I spent many years working with Yogananda. He actually passed in 1952, I think, but I encountered him after he passed on the inner planes in a state of meditation. So I would I was offered this discipleship where I would every day go into meditation and meet with Yogananda on the inner planes, and he would take me step by step through different planes of creation, all the way first to the angelic realm, and after that to what I would call the soul. It's like a over soul. It's a very large being of light that we are created by, in a way, but the soul is so large. It's almost like this big cocoon of light. The soul is swimming in the sea of spirit that comes as energy and light from source, and the soul is dreaming, and we are one of her dreams. And I say her because I'm in a female body in this lifetime. After I worked with Yogananda for many years, I was able to go to source itself and meet source energy. Now, I thought that was the highlight of my life, being able to communicate with source and see source physically. But then suddenly Divine Mother, and I'm just going to say how I perceived everything. I perceived this being as Divine Mother came to me, and she started teaching me in a completely different way, much more physical way. And one of the manifestations of Divine Mother that she came in was the green Tara. And when the green Tara appeared to me, she started to reveal different teachings about the earth, about nature, about plants. And that's where I am right now. And that's what I will share with you here. So we are going through a major planetary shift, and I know everybody, all the light workers and every teacher is speaking about the shift, so it's great to have different ways of how we can look at the shift. So for me, what I see and what I'm being told is that the electromagnetic field of the earth will change, or is changing, and when that happens, our physical reality will be completely different from what we know it to be. The earth is a sentient being. She is a being of light that is expanding in her fabric of reality. And with her being on her surface as her children, we will expand too. And so you can say, yes, moving from 3D to 5D, but it truly is about the earth restoring her electromagnetic field. And when I have visions of what is to come, I see physical changes to a point that our bodies are really like a light blue plasma with life force running through us. And I see that we will be integrated into nature. And instead of us feeling separate from her, we will be part of her. I see the energy of the earth as a rainbow serpent. And she is the Mother Creator. And this is not a biological snake. This is serpent of light, rainbow light, that comes from source, here to create. And for us, she is the Mother Creator on planet Earth. She is the Kundalini of the earth. She is in the earth, but also she is in us, and we are in her, and there is no separation. What she tells me and how she explains the shift is that our reality, which is basically her body, is shifting from triangular fabric to a pentagonal fabric of reality. And so everything that we know, including our bodies, including our DNA, including our consciousness, and all the systems that we have created here on planet Earth, will have to expand to fit into this new fabric of reality. The rainbow light plays a very important role in all of creation. When I see source energy coming, or phase source, which to me is like the Big Bang that happened but is also still happening now, it is the eternal source that is still, of course, expanding and expanding into the body of creation. And the way that it looks in terms of light, it is as if light was coming out of a center, and as it spills into creation, it spills into rainbow frequencies. And so we perceive it as rainbow light. Now, our divine self, or you can call it the I Am presence, is obviously from source. And so we are, as they say, made in the image of source. Our divinity is the same fabric of light as the source. And so what's been happening lately, or what happened lately, which is August 2020, as we went through the first few days of August, the divine self actually merged with our physical and energetic bodies in a way that we have not experienced before on a global scale. Every being that is on planet Earth was, in a way, completely merged with their divine self, with their I Am. And so now we embody our I Am in our physical bodies. And this is just a few days ago, so I hope everybody's feeling the huge shift. For me, what I was seeing through my third eye was that all of us were receiving geometrical light and sound codes. They looked like very large geometrical structures that were above our head, where the crown is. And we were receiving these downloads for several days during the Lion's Gate at the beginning of August. And so this is just images that I saw through my own perception in my meditations, through my third eye. And what that means for us when we receive these divine downloads, like the I Am. This was my experience of the I Am being downloaded, and that was one of the most ecstatic experiences I've ever had. The I Am is a very large rainbow light geometrical structure, but from a certain point of view it looks like the Inca cross filled with rainbow. So this is the closest I could find an image that would explain the I Am as it was downloaded into our being. And this all happened during the week of August 8th until August 12th. Now what happened right then was that the Kundalini Rainbow Serpent of the Earth for me became completely visible in the Earth, and I could see the Earth filled with this amazing serpent, being of light, filled with indescribable colors of the rainbow. And I saw how we, as children of the Earth, as we are here in these physical bodies, are constantly being offered this beautiful rainbow light. And if only our energy channels were open, we would experience the fullness of this life force, our own Kundalini awakening, which is when we say, what is my highest potential? So our truth, our original being, our human, was meant to be filled with this rainbow light. We were meant to be, all of us, the rainbow children. And so what Divine Mother showed me is that if only we could connect, we would instantaneously experience our fullness. And then from that fullness, we would get restored. We would, in a way, look like the Celtic tree of life, where our roots are being nourished with the energy of the rainbow light coming from the earth, from the rainbow serpent, from her own Kundalini, her electromagnetic life force. And our bodies are like the trunk, with our hearts being fully open, of course, no other way, allowing this flow upwards, and with our crown being like a fountain of rainbow light, spraying the light out. And as we spray the light out that comes in, we also become almost spheres, not almost, but we become spheres of light. And we become complete and can expand as we absorb more light also coming to us from source. And so this is the dynamics, the flow of life. It's complete flow, complete openness. And that openness really depends on the openness of our hearts, but also our emotional self, our emotional body, our mental body, and our physical body. So all in one. Now the rainbow serpent is the Kundalini of the earth, she shows me. And she is very associated, very much associated with the element of water. And so when water comes from, springs in the earth and we drink it, we basically could be drinking, or we can imagine we drinking the rainbow light in the particles of water. And so the magic is available to us here on this planet right now. The Mother Creator is beneath our feet. She's inside of us if we allow her to flow fully. And she can completely restore the balance within ourselves. But when she comes in, let's say you can feel her pushing at the base of your spine, at your perineum, and she wants to go up all the way to your crown and not to get stuck anywhere on her way up. It is very pleasurable, but also it can be an experience where you have to let go of certain things emotionally, physically, mentally, and really just allow the flow to flow. And so the mother's love, I love this little video, is this incredibly beautiful rainbow energy. And it is available to us at all times. It's very simple. The mother is back. Everything is shifting. She can fully now come into our bodies. And it is our task to become available to her energy, to her light, to her love. And to trust and to let go of everything that was blocking us or is still blocking us, especially in terms of our emotions. The Mother Creator showed me she took me through different visions just to really understand and to be able to comprehend the workings of the rainbow serpent. So this is a painting that I have of the flower of life, and with the beautiful rainbow coming out. And you see the flower of life itself. It's almost like it has many serpents in the flower of life. And so if you consider this to be source and source energy, then the arms that come out from source, like in the Egyptian hieroglyphs, it is the serpent energy coming out. So it's waves of rainbow light becoming their own creators and coming to create worlds. And we are one of the worlds. We are the world that this rainbow serpent created in the dream time. And you can read about the dream time. It's an Aboriginal, I don't want to say myth, because to me it is what really happened. A rainbow serpent, Mother Creator, came from Source and created rivers, lakes, oceans, all that we know to be nature on planet Earth, and also our bodies. And so I had an experience where the Mother Serpent was coming from Source, and when I looked at like what seemed like I'm looking at the sky, then the serpent was coming towards me and I had to plug into it. It was almost like a rope of rainbow light coming down from the sky. And as I grabbed this rope, which also could be like a DNA kind of shape of rainbow light, and I held on to it, suddenly my body started to make clicking sounds. So I went like, and I know there is a tribe in the Kalahari Desert in Africa called the Sun People. And the Sun People, just like many of our native people, they use dance and music and sound to get into trance state where they can connect with source energy, where they can have a direct experience of divinity. Not only divinity that comes to us from Source, but divinity that is within us and divinity that is here in our own Mother Earth. And the Sun People, the language that they use is a language with a lot of clicking. So it's very interesting that obviously, you know, our ancient people, they knew and they worshipped not only some god in the sky, mostly it was the sun as the source of life, but also they worship the earth. And so we are the rainbow children. And all the children, I believe, who come here to planet Earth when her Kundalini is fully activated, when she is in her fullness, when she is in her full rainbow serpent body, then every child who comes to this beautiful planet, as they come open and free, they are filled with her love. They are filled with her rainbow light. It just flows in. There's nothing you can do to, well, there is nothing you have to do. You just have to allow it. So it's allowing this rainbow light to come in, not only from the bottom of the spine, but also from the crown. So it's constantly a merging of two worlds. It's almost like two serpents. One is sending you rainbow light from source, and one is sending you rainbow light from the earth, and they merge in your heart. So my experience as a rainbow child was that we come here in our fullness, fully open. This Kundalini energy is on fire. We have our full rainbow body, and then life happens. And first, it's our childhood, which is not always so easy for everyone, because our parents were disconnected from this beautiful rainbow life force flow. And so it can happen that your parents will be the first ones who damage your openness and disconnect you from your true source of well-being and fullness. So when we were little, and this is again what I observe, when we were little and we were able to cry, to really express our emotion, especially sadness and crying, and the way that our bodies moved, you know, when we snuggled, when we curled up in a, you know, like a baby fetus position, that was all the Kundalini moving us. She was moving us. She was the one who wanted to protect us. She was the one who wanted to be the mother. She was the one who was helping us to clear our energy field. And so I see that our sadness as children was actually her pushing the emotion out so that she can again restore us and flow fully. The same when she moved our body to a certain position where we suddenly felt well, like in the fetus position, that she was actually moving our spine so that she can flow and hold us. And so as adults, after we went through, schooling where we had to sit on our bums for hours and hours, not moving, disconnected from nature, disconnected from our bodies, disconnected from everything, really. And not singing, not dancing, not being one with it, then we just became frozen. And that is what's going to change now. And hopefully if you have children or grandchildren, you can actually start honoring them as these sacred beings who come here and they hold the frequency, not because they brought it with them, but because they are able to let the flow happen. And so that's up to us to become again rainbow children too, and honor our children instead of try to change them and beat the life out of them. The same with our bodies, we exist in these bodies and we just got used to getting sick and getting old and drying up. And Divine Mother shows me that we just need to become like the trees of life again and every day meditate in nature. And meditation with her is meditation where we sit or stand or dance in nature, where we connect our energy field like roots with her. And we just bring the energy up, make sure it flows, and allow it to just restore us, rejuvenate us. And the same with allowing her to be in the water, to swim, to drink water, to connect with the rainbow light that came from her and through her, and to just restore the balance within our physical bodies. But that also means our emotional, and the story, just our emotional balance is usually there is a burden or blockages from our emotions. So this is just about being in the flow. And if you need to cry, if you need to purify your body, if you need to let go of all those thoughts, let go. And so for me, the entire lifetime, my training as a yogi and a mystic, as a rainbow child, I focused, of course, a lot on letting go of the personality self, which is mainly in our thoughts. It's something we believe about ourselves, but also in our emotions. And so quieting your mind, that's a great way of meditating, but that is not the complete story. Just to quiet your mind what will it do? It will still have, you can still have emotional blockages. So it's much more than quieting the mind, but quieting the mind is also important, to be like child again, to be able to be really experiencing the pleasure of being in a physical body, to the pleasure of touching, an animal, or hugging a tree, or hugging our loved one. There is it's a very different feeling when you start feeling like a child again. You perceive reality differently. So this is something I wanted to share with you as one of my ancient memories. So I remember being part of a small society that came to planet Earth from, let's say, the angelic realms. And this is the time of Enoch. I experienced myself as being a woman in this small society of beings who came from the angelic realm, and they ended up in Ethiopia, in Africa. And we were beings who suddenly had, obviously, human bodies. And when we were in our human bodies, I could see how the male beings in our society started to lust after women. And in that moment, the feeling of lust through the physical body was a feeling that didn't honor our divinity. And I saw how we were asked by our, let's say, creator, to just sit quietly in these rocks and mountains in Ethiopia, and to just close our eyes and to be taken out again from this physical reality by the flood. So a big wave of water, the deluge came, and suddenly there was this quick transition. We were just a little bit nervous because we were kind of new to the physical body, and we were taken out of the body back into where we came from. And I experienced myself with immense sorrow for failing as a society. And I made a promise to the divine that I just felt as presence. I didn't see anything. I made the promise to come back in this lifetime and to make sure that this never happens again, this pain that was caused to Mother Earth. And so, you know, as we share our ancient memories, I think we really help each other to make sense of things. So that was my sense, was that lust is a feeling that many of us obviously have felt here on this planet because of the Kundalini inside the earth. When she wants to go up again, when she pushes at the base of the spine, we can perceive it as a sexual feeling. But if we allow it to flow freely all the way through our nervous system, then it goes up into our crown, and that is her truth. There is no difference. You know, like the yogis, they said not suppress, but they would not use their sexual energy because they were using their sexual energy for enlightenment. But in a way, the way that I see it and understand it from Divine Mother is that it is not sexual energy. It is the life force. It is the life force that really was meant to flow through us. It was the life force, like you see here, just being natural, being a human being, just learning again what it means to be human, because we have forgotten what it's like to be truly natural. And being truly natural, it's really funny when you think about it, how, you know, like including myself being on a spiritual path for so many decades, you think, wow, you know, I'm going out of body, I'm teleporting, maybe I'm levitating, wow, these are supernatural things I get to experience. And yet the journey should be more into the body, where you experience your true nature. And your true nature is to be a rainbow being, a rainbow body. And we have so many different traditions around the world. We have the native traditions, we have Native Americans like the Hopi tribe that speak about the rainbow body, or the rainbow warriors of light. We have Tibetan traditions where the goal is actually to activate your rainbow body. And then we have you know, Taoist tradition where you're supposed to find your original face. And I was always wondering, what does it mean to find your original face? But now that I have been learning from Divine Mother and the Rainbow Serpent, the original face is really your innocence. The innocence, not in terms of sexuality, but, you know, because we think, oh, children are innocent because they don't have sex. No, it is our truth. Our nature is to be an open channel for rainbow light from this serpent energy flowing through us, flowing up, evolving our nervous system, but also coming to us from source. And so that is something that we are to embody. It's really exciting, it's beautiful, it's blissful, and to me, this is the true supernatural state of being, just to be natural again. So what we need to do, we need to really unstuck ourselves. And that means, in like the Chinese medicine, you have the meridians that they could observe in the body. So when I experience my Kundalini flowing and awakening and activating, which has been really a process for many decades. Sometimes I would have a very strong activation and Kundalini experience, and then it would go away. And sometimes it would last for a very long time where I could see the flow of energy. But because energies are changing on planet Earth and so many of us are coming back to our truth, which is our rainbow body, it is much easier to see how the energy actually flows through the body at all times. And so in Chinese medicine, this was observed as the meridians, and the energy would flow. So how do we re-establish that flow? We really need to let go of a lot and to be in a feeling of gratitude, love for life. Because Divine Mother, she often talks about herself as the goddess of life. And as a goddess of life, she would like us, her children, to love her. And it's not like you owe her something. It's not loving something that is not out of this world. It's actually just like loving your mother. If you have a mother that you love deeply, that you know exactly the feeling, and many of us don't know what that's like to deeply love our mother, but maybe you had a grandmother you could love fully, and you just feel like the most natural state of being is expressive love. And so it's the same with our mother, expressive love. And I traveled through South America, and in South America, native people of Peru and Bolivia, they have a very strong relationship with the mother as Mother Earth, Pachamama. And I learned from the native people in the mountains that they give gifts to Pachamama. And they would make a little hole and take whatever they had and they would put it in the hole and be very generous with the mother and give her gifts. And so I feel that that time will come again when we will want to dig little holes in the earth and give her gifts. Maybe put a crystal in her, and it's not because it didn't come from her, it's just to show your immense appreciation. So the time of new rituals in the new earth is ahead of us. I personally have a very strong connection with what I call Christ consciousness, and I think we all, of course, do. It's just that religious beliefs and dogmas kind of spoiled the idea of Christ consciousness for many of us. So I lived in Germany for many years, and I was on a path where I would meditate every day for many hours a day, and had many incredible multi-dimensional experiences through meditation. And one day I decided I'm going to do a really long meditation where I would like meditate, I meditated for like 48 weeks non-stop, as much as I could, and then do long meditations like 12 hours a day, 8 hours a day, 5 hours a day. So there was a lot of intention that went into the meditations. And one day I woke up and I witnessed myself being surrounded by the being that we can call Christ or Jesus even. And this being was holding me in this golden light that felt like the most exquisite, completely all-encompassing, all-present, all-pervading, unconditional love. And no human words can really explain that state of love. And so we were exchanging information telepathically, and this was an experience that lasted 24 hours. And I was asking, how is it even possible that as human beings we never really get to experience this kind of love? It was love that was completely free from anything else but love. Nothing else existed in it. There was nothing that could shake it, nothing that could, damage it, nothing that could stop it. It just was love. It was the absolute presence of love and the absolute absence of fear. And so that's my relationship with Christ consciousness, where Christ told me that we all are destined to reach the state of that love. So in a way, I received a map so that I know that our destiny is the rainbow body and that our destiny is Christ consciousness, which is all-encompassing love, the absolute love. And so that's what we are doing here right now, 2020, this is a huge year of transformation. And I think within a couple of years, we will be the angels of the earth, the rainbow angels of the earth. And so Christ said, apparently in the Bible, that we need to be like children so that we can enter the kingdom of heaven. And the thing is that the kingdom of heaven is within us. And that's also his words. The kingdom of God is within you. And until I really realized the rainbow serpent within myself, within my body, and saw how it flows and how it flows in the earth, the kingdom of God within me seemed like it must be, my heart center. It must be my connection to source. It must be my soul. But no, the kingdom of God is within you as the rainbow serpent. And when that flows, you become completely reconnected to source. But you also become so reconnected to the earth. You become reconnected to the light that you were meant to be. And so, again, it's all about becoming the being of light that we were created to be, but here in this physical body that will transform as it takes on this new frequency. And as I said, the serpent shared that she's expanding into the Pentagonal fabric of reality, so that will also be changing our DNA, our cells, our consciousness. Everything that we know about our physical body, I believe, will be transformed. And here is a beautiful crop circle that I think really shows us not only it is the symbol for infinity, it also could be two serpents, one serpent of the earth merging with the serpent of the divine source here on earth in our hearts, where Christ consciousness is the true love. And so it is heaven on earth, heaven in us, in our bodies, when the rainbow light flows. And that's the key. We cannot realize heaven within us or around us unless we allow this energy to flow. So what's next? I shared that I normally would meditate many hours a day. And after I encountered the rainbow serpent, suddenly I couldn't sit so easily for 3 hours or 5 hours. And she asked me to move. And I used to do a lot of Kundalini yoga, and also with Yogananda, the yoga is very spiritual yoga. It's very little movement, and yet you still need to move your spine to allow the flow. Also, I know Sadhguru has great teaching of the Kundalini yoga and transmissions, very powerful. And you need to use sound, you need to use movement, you need to at least bend forward, to allow the flow in the spine. So it's a very physical and also sound-based practice. And so, I came back home. We were at Mount Shasta with my husband, and we got back home, and I was thinking, okay, I'll just sit. And she said, no, I need you to move. Now think about yourself as, again, being a native person, celebrating life by movement, by ecstatic dance, by singing, by toning. Even if you just want to moan or let the sounds come out of you like a kid, not controlled, not something that you learn from someone, but just allow the energy of the Kundalini, the rainbow serpent, to move through you. And then she said, now, as we are stepping into this renewed, restored relationship with our own Mother Earth, as she changes her flow, her electromagnetic field, it will be a time where we don't go back in time and become like our ancient ancestors of the land, but it is a different relationship because we're stepping into the fifth dimensional, the pentagonal fabric of reality. And so what do we do there? Well, we still integrate with nature. We still affirm our oneness with her. We become clairvoyant to the flow of rainbow light in our own bodies as they change. We allow it every day. And now the key is, once you allow the flow, which will instantaneously transform you, transform your consciousness, transform your life in every possible way, you become a creator again. And you will have all the light of source and earth available to you again, which is the light of the rainbow in your heart, to create a new reality. And so it's almost like a new dream time. And if you haven't read about the dream time of the Aboriginal stories, then definitely look into it. Because now we are stepping into that new dream time. And it is the time when we are to be in our hearts with our rainbow flow, with our Kundalini serpent power fully awake, flowing and flowing and flowing. But then if that was it, then we could not create. And so we also are to become creators in the dream time. And that is to take this amazing energy, merge it with our essence in our hearts, and then express it. Create something with it. And the sky is your limit. So I envision, for example, once I see this flow of energy, then I start just affirming that we all are in our fullness, in our rainbow light, children of the earth. We are in the flow, in love with Goddess life. We are connected to Source and know who we are. We are co-creators with Source. And instead of creating something like money or houses, which we were told to create, we now create beauty for all life. We create restored nature. We create clean rivers. We create peace for all. We create balance, harmony, health for all. Because we are all so, we are like the scales on the mother's skin. And her scales used to be like diamond triangles. And we were all connected to each other like fractals. But now our fractal shape is expanding to that pentagonal shape. And we are still connected, side by side, absolutely one with the larger being that is our Mother Creator. And so when I create from my love, from my heart, for all. And this is our future. Our future is to feel this oneness where our I am presence, or our I am, our divinity, together with our rainbow body, is creating new perfection, a new dream. And that's a beautiful vision that I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much.